Hi friends, welcome back to my channel and welcome to part 1 of the 10,000 euro market prep series. So it's week 1, it's June 1st, it's Monday. I'm currently on my lunch break and I wanted to get started with market prep for this week. So if you didn't watch last week's video, I highly recommend that you do that right now because I kind of explained all about my 10,000 euro inventory goal for my busy season this year. But basically the way I want to do that is every single week I pick out a new type of item that I will focus on and prep for a whole week, and we will see how many we can get done for a single type of item, and then the next week it switches. And as I already teased last week, this week, so week 1, I want to focus on turtles, and my ideal goal for these little guys would be 40 turtles. I did design a little prep planner for what I want to make, all of the different colors, which you will find linked down below if you want to follow along with this huge inventory goal or if you are looking for some inspiration. But I actually did get quite a head start already for this week, so I started working on that kind of yesterday, but then also over the past couple of weeks I've been on lots of little trips and out of the house for quite a while. So I always take yarn when I am like on little trips, and one of the things that's really easy to make while on the go are turtle parts. So little heads, little shells, and then little fins as well. So I have a ton of these parts over in this basket, which I'm currently working on. And then yesterday I did start to actually make up some turtles. So we have 5 of these little guys finished already, because ideally I want to start my weeks on Sunday for these prep weeks, just because I think usually on Sunday I will have a little more time to check in with you guys, get the new video and the new week started, and yeah, make it a little more structured for you instead of starting Monday. So I already kind of started doing the prep week yesterday, and as I said, finished 5 of these guys. I have 4 with me now. The 5th one is over in my studio, but it's this one again. So I have 2 with beige bodies and blue shells. And let me actually read off my ideal inventory list as well, where we're going through it. So I have 2 of those finished and I want to have 3 of them in total. I have a 1 beige body and purple shell finished, and I want to have 3 of those as well. I have 1 with a beige body and green shell finished, and I want to have 3 of those as well. And then finally, the last finished turtle so far, I have this beige body and blue variegated shell, and I want to have 2 of those. So as you can tell, I have a lot of beige body turtles that I want to make. I also want to make some more different colored shells. So apart from the ones I already told you, I also want to do 2 in a variegated pink, so like this, but just with pink. Then 2 in berry, so like a dark berry colored shell, 2 mustard shells, and then 1 pink shell and 1 dark turquoise shell. So quite a lot of different colors, but these beige body turtles tend to do pretty well in all kinds of different colors. So that's kind of like my bread and butter for these little guys. Then I have 2 kind of like inverted color combinations. So a green body and brown shell. So the green will be this for the body, and then like a darker brown shell. I want to make 2 of those. I don't always make those, but they always kind of sell pretty well because they're kind of like natural, but in like a fresh way. So 2 of those, and then the other way around, I want to have 1 of them, so a brown body and green shell. Then I have some 2-tone turtles in kind of like the monochromatic way. So the most popular in this type of color way is blue. So we will have 4 in the lighter variations. So this will be the body color, and then like a medium blue as a shell, and then 1 in a darker color variation. So the medium blue will be the body, and then a dark blue will be the shell. And yeah, I always like to have a little variation in there, but blue tends to be the best in the two-toned colorway. Then we will have 3 two-toned purple and then 1 two-toned pink, because that one isn't as popular, but I always want to have it because there's always like little girls who really love pink, so it eventually sells, but it's not one of the most popular colorways. And then finally, the one where I want to have most of is my natural looking turtle. So I already have quite a lot of parts for this one. So this is the shell color for this one, like a medium green. And then this kind of like darker beige is the body color. So this is the color combo. This one always does super well. So I want to make 9 of those, and I currently have quite a lot of parts. So I have 5 heads finished already. They just need eyes and stuffing, and then 3 shells. Because for now I want to make 5 so that I can definitely get those done this week, and then we will circle back on those at the end of the week and see if we can get more of those done. This color is my least favorite to work with though, because for some reason every single skein that I've ever had in this color is like super rough. I feel like it's like a very difficult color to like dye, I think. So it's always like super unpleasant to work with, which is one of the reasons why I really don't like making the natural looking turtles, even though they are so popular. So that's also a good thing to kind of split this part of making these little guys up into 2 parts, making 5 now and then 4 at the end of the week if we have time. So yeah, that will be my goal for right now, to start making some fins for these little guys. If I have time, it would be awesome if I got enough fins done during my lunch break to be able to actually finish 5 of these little guys later on, but I'm not sure if that will be possible with the amount of time I have left. And then also, what else do I have in my little basket of works in progress? I have a dark purple shell, so this will be for the two-toned purple turtle, and then I have all of the parts for 2 more beige body turtles, I guess, except for the shells. So I have 2 heads with eyes added already, and then 8 little fins in this color, and then we can decide what color for the shells I want to make. First, I think for the sake of actually getting through this list, I might want to make 1 in every single color first, and then cycle back through the different colorways to get as much done as I can. But for now, I've been talking your ear off for such a long time. Let me get started on the fins, and I will check in with you guys tonight and show you how much I got finished. Alright friends, I am back now. I finished my workday and I wanted to show you all of the little fins that I finished on my lunch break. So I didn't get a ton of them done. I only got 6 of them made in this color, because as I said, this yarn color is like so uncomfortable to work with. So it actually takes me way longer to work with it than it does with other colors. So that's kind of annoying, but yeah, there's nothing I can really do about it. So I think tonight my goal is going to be to at least finish 3 of the natural looking turtles. That's kind of my goal. I have all of the parts except for 6 more fins that I need to do for those. So I think it's definitely doable. I do have to make dinner now though, and I might have to go grocery shopping, and I want to do a workout tonight. So quite a busy evening, but I'm still positive I can get 3 turtles done. So I might check in with you guys a little later, or I will see you tomorrow and show you what I got accomplished. Alright friends, it's now Tuesday, so the next day, and it is the morning before I start my workday, but I wanted to check in and show you what I made last night when I was working on turtle parts. So I ended up not finishing one of these up, but we have way more parts in here now. So I'm currently sitting at 14 of the fins in the natural color. So 6 more left to go, but my hands really don't like this yarn. So I kind of had to switch it up after that, and I finished the final 2 of the green shells for those turtles, so we now have 5 of those. So after I make the other 6 of those little fins, I can start to actually assemble all 5 of these. So I'm really looking forward to that, to kind of get those out of the way, because as I've been saying, I really don't like the feel of that yarn. But for now, I will start my workday and I will check in with you guys at lunch and we will work on those turtles. Hi friends, it's now the next day, so it is Wednesday, and I was actually so productive yesterday, even though I ended up not checking in with you guys. But let me show you what I've been working on. So first of all, I made something that I haven't shown you before in this video. So I made this two-toned purple turtle. I had the shell already at the beginning of the week, but I made all of the parts and finished that one up yesterday. So one of the two-toned little guys finished and ready to go into my bag. And then, super exciting, I got so busy and I finally finished not 1, not 2, but all 5 of the natural looking turtles, and we're kind of like matching today. That's kind of crazy. So all of the 5 natural looking turtles I was working on, I finished yesterday, and I am so excited about that, because as I've been complaining about, the yarn is really not my favorite. So I'm so excited to get those finished and out of the way, and I honestly don't think that we will circle back to them, even though I have 9 planned on my ideal inventory, but I just don't think that I will have enough time to actually complete 40 turtles this week. So I think we will probably get through half of them at the end of the week. So 5 is a pretty good number for that. So I have already crossed that off my list. So here's the purple one and the natural ones. So that means we're now at 11 turtles so far this week, and I still have quite a lot of parts for some beige bodies. I think enough for around 3 more turtles, but I just have the body parts, so no more shells. But I think today my goal is to work on these 2 categories. So the 2 turtles that I want to make with a green body and brown shell, and then the 1 turtle I want to make with a brown body and green shell. So that is the goal today, to at least get those 3 done. I don't have any parts for those. And then possibly, if I have any more time, I would love to make the two-toned pink turtle, because I only have 1 of those on my tracker. It says 2 on here, but on the tracker I have linked in my description, it only says 1, because after I wrote this out, I decided that I actually want to have a beige body and dark turquoise shell as well. So that is why there's 2 in my planner, but only 1 in the actual planner. So 1 two-toned pink turtle. So I might want to make that today as well, if I do have the time, because I haven't told you that, but I will actually be going out of town starting tomorrow. So tonight we will need to pack my bag for my little trip. We're going to a music festival over the weekend, so that basically means I won't be back until Monday. So I want to pack lots of yarn and work on some more turtles, or I guess turtle parts, tomorrow on the train, and then possibly on Friday as well. And then I think I will switch to next week's makes on Saturday already, so a day early, and work on those while I'm away, and then on the train on Monday when we're going home, because then on Monday, once I'm back home, I will work on turtles some more, even though it's a new week, to finish up all of the parts that I make while I'm away, if that makes sense. So yeah, kind of like a chaotic week for the first week of this prep already, but yeah, that's just the way it goes. So tonight we will pack some colors for more turtles. So that is why I want to get some of the other colors out of the way today, and that is why we're working on some different categories today, so that I don't have to pack a ton of different yarn. And I think while I'm away, for now, I think I will pack lots of blue for the blue turtles, and then of course beige and some more of the colors to work on those, because those are the two categories that I really need to work on more. So yeah, that kind of makes it more regulated what colors I need to take. So yeah, but for now I have to start my work day and I will check in with you guys a little later. Alright friends, it's now been quite a while, so it is now Tuesday. I'm back from my fun weekend away and I wanted to check in and show you guys what I've been working on, what turtles I actually completed before I left to go on my trip, and then what I ended up working on while I was there. So those are currently not finished up, so just turtle parts, but I think I got quite a lot done. So let's start with the turtles that I made before I left to go on my trip. So as I told you on Wednesday, I wanted to work on some of the, let's just say, like more extraordinary colors where I only wanted to make one or two of, so that I wouldn't have to take so much different yarn with me on my trip. So the first little guy that I worked on was this one. So a green body and a brown shell. And I wanted to make two of those, but I have only one finished. I do have another bag with turtle parts that I ended up working on before I left to go on my trip, but that I didn't finish. And in there you can find some of the parts for this little guy. So we have the brown shell and the head completed. And while on my trip, I actually took this green yarn and I do have the 4 fins for that one as well. So we can finish that up once we start working on all of these parts that I have. Then the other turtle that I wanted to make and that I actually finished is this one. So we have a brown body and then this green shell. Originally I wanted to do this green as the shell, but then I found a scrap of this darker green and I ended up really liking that, so I used that. And yeah, I really like this one. This is like also like a very natural toned turtle, but just a little different twist to it. So 2 more natural little turtles finished, and then the final one that I finished was this one. So beige body, I had all of the parts for that one, and then I made the dark turquoise shell because I only want to make one of those. So yeah, I didn't have to take this color yarn with me on my trip, so I finished that one before I left. And that means we currently are sitting at 15 completed turtles. We're in the next week, and yeah, I am not really sticking to my plan of only working on one type of plushie for just a week and then moving on to the next, because I do have quite a lot of parts to go through for this week. So as I told you, I had some parts that I was working on before I left. So I have the ones that I showed you for the green and brown turtle. I have a one berry colored shell here, and then lots of little parts for more beige turtles. So if I counted correctly, I have a one head with eyes already added, and then I should have 12 fins, so enough for 3 turtles. So those were all of the parts I had before I went on my trip, and I actually got so much done while I was there, because as I told you, I went to a music festival. And first of all, I was on a train on Thursday for 3 hours or so, and then it didn't start until Friday. So Thursday was like a holiday over here, and we decided to like just come a day early and get to spend a day in a different city. So that is what we ended up doing. But in the evening I had a little time to crochet, and then also on Friday the festival didn't start until the afternoon. So in the morning we were just kind of hanging out, and I ended up crocheting quite a lot. So yeah, we actually have so much to go through. I'm just picking out the skeins that I have in this bag as well. But now The rest that's in here is all parts. So let me kind of like set that up, sort it out by the different turtles, because I think I have like around 10 or so more to finish, but I'm not entirely sure. So let me dump this bag, set it up, and then we will go through everything that I crocheted and my plans to finish all of this. So this is what I mean when I say I actually got so much done. I have all of the parts for 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 turtles actually. And then I have all of the body parts except for the shells for 3 more. So that is 14 more turtles that I can get done with all of the parts that I have started to work on. And you can definitely tell what colors I brought with me, because I basically got all of the ones crocheted where I took the colors with me. So I have all of the parts for 4 two-toned blue turtles. So I want to make 4 of them, and I have all of the parts for all 4 of them. I have all of the parts for the purple, green, and blue shelled beige turtles. So I have 2 more with the green shell because I only have 1 made and I want to have 3 of them. I have 1 blue shell and beige body because I have 2 done and I want to have 3 of them. And then 2 more with purple shells because I have 1 done and I want to have 3 of those. So quite busy there. Then I have the berry shell and beige colored turtle that I can finish. And then I actually ended up making some body parts for turtles where I didn't bring the shell color with me. So I have all of the parts for 1 more two-toned purple turtle. I have the body parts, but I didn't have the dark purple with me to work on. Same with the blue. So I have the dark blue here, but I didn't have the like very like dark blue with me to make the shell. And then I have 1 more just the beige body parts because I actually have a couple more beige bodied turtles where I didn't bring the shell colors. So I have mustard and then variegated pink and regular pink as well, where I didn't take the colors with me because there's just like not a lot of yarn that I would be using for those, so it didn't make sense to bring all of that. But yeah, definitely have my work cut out for me there. So my plan for tonight is to start by stuffing the turtle heads, I guess adding the eyes first and then stuffing the turtle heads and then starting to actually work on completing them. And I will actually carry this video until tomorrow morning to check in with you guys, show you what I finished and how much I actually got done, and then maybe we might move on to a new video because it's already going to be Wednesday tomorrow, and yeah, I haven't started on the new video for the new week, so it's going to be a pretty short amount of time for me to film another video. So we might make a help me finish all of my works in progress video for next week, because apart from the turtles, I ended up crocheting some penguin bodies as well on the train ride home as I planned to. So I moved on to a different type of plushie there. And then I also have way more penguin bodies that I crocheted on another trip I was on. So I think I have around like 30 or so of those to finish as well. So I think that might be a fun video for next week. But for now, as I said, I will pack up my things, go home to eat and do my workout, and then we will work on these little turtle guys. Alright friends, it's now the next day and I wanted to show you what I finished last night. So first of all, let's look at actual completed turtles. So I did finish this one. So the second green bodied and brown shell little turtle, and that means we completely finished those two guys. So I have another one of those and then this one, so that is completely finished. And I got to cross that off my list. And then I finished the berry shell and beige body turtle next. So that was the one where the head was already stuffed and had eyes in it, so that was pretty quick. It takes me around 10 minutes or so at this stage, like once I have the eyes added and the head stuffed, to completely finish up these turtles. So actually not that long once you have all of the parts completed. But what I did realize yesterday is like it's actually pretty tough on your hands to complete these turtles because you're always like kind of working around the different body parts. So yeah, it was actually kind of strenuous on my hands, even though I've been crocheting quite a lot the past few days. That was kind of uncomfortable on my hand, but yeah, we have this one finished. So one of these little guys, and probably the only berry colored turtle that we will have for now, because I don't have another shell made and I don't think I will make another one because I have 3 more categories of beige bodied turtles where I don't have any made up yet. So I think I will focus on that rather than making another one of one of the colors that I already have. So yeah, that will probably be the only one, but another one finished. And then finally I finished another turtle, so another beige bodied turtle but with a green shell here. So I do have another one of those, so at the end I will actually have 3 exact same turtles like this, same for the blue and the purple. So that's kind of unlucky. I wish I had more of the other variations I wanted to make, but that is kind of like because I only took so much yarn on my trip and so many different colors. So I will have some where I have quite a lot more, or I completed all of them that I wanted to, and some where I didn't complete any of them. That's just how it goes. We can always circle back to these turtles at the end of my prep series, but for now, this is the final one I finished. I did finish all of the other heads as well, so I added eyes to them and stuffed them all. So we have 11 more heads that we can work on after completing these turtles. So that will be the next step, to actually finish up those turtles where I have the parts for them. But that will be in next week's video because I'm already on the second week Wednesday and I haven't started to film for the other video, so that will be in a different vlog. But for now, for my first kind of week of prep, let's do a little recap of how much we actually got completed off the list. So in the end, I ended up making 18 turtles out of the 40 that I wanted to. And 18 turtles, I sell them for 16 euros each. So that should be 18 times 16. That's 288 euros worth of inventory finished. So definitely a lower week than I would like to have them. I'm aiming around 300 or 350 euros. So yeah, definitely room to improve, to step up my game. But for now, I'm pretty happy that I actually started to market prep pretty early on, and I can already tell that I'm way more motivated to crochet and to actually crochet a lot of the same item when I plan it out like this. So definitely the way to go for me. Let me know down below if that is how you like to prep as well. I know some people get overwhelmed with huge lists and they don't want to make the same thing over and over again, but for me it's just the right way to do things. So yeah, pretty happy with that. I will keep on working on my market prep like this, but for next week we will finish up all of my works in progress, so stay tuned for that. And thank you guys so much for watching this video all the way until the end. And I will see you guys again next week for another video. So until then, bye!